And then please come and lie down on your backs. Some nice laying down I'm observing. Nice, gentle, smooth laying down. Good way to start. So take a moment to feel how the ground comes into you now. How does the ground come into your system? What parts of you settle onto the ground? You could think of the ground pressing up into you and you're receiving it. You can also think of the other side of giving your weight to the ground. You can play with those concepts. It's just see for yourself, do they feel different? And then could you very lightly just begin to, we've all done this many times, find that way of anchoring your heels lightly into the ground so that if you were to flex and extend your ankles a little bit, you would find yourself traveling a little towards your head and a little towards your feet. A little towards your head, a little towards your feet. So there's a bit of a rocking motion. Yes. And so just feel how that goes through what happens in the knees, what happens in the hips, when the pelvis turns under and when it turns away from the head. And when the head moves away from the chest and then, or rather the chin away from the chest and the chin a bit towards the chest. And now bring your attention to your shoulder blades. It's your shoulder blades. And kind of play around with the idea that you could cause this type of rocking that you just did through your skeleton by employing your shoulder blades into the floor somehow. So would you press them into the floor? You might press them. You might think of gathering your shoulder blades down into the floor and then underneath, think of them coming underneath the spine and then moving away, and then that somehow presses your skeleton in the other direction. And you can help with the feet. You can help with the feet, but see if you can generate the movement from your shoulder blades. And can you do it in a way that's very smooth and even and not requiring a lot of energy or force or gymnastics? It's more like a more primitive creature, something that just might move like this on the bottom of the sea. And find a way that this spreads all the way through you, spreads through you, like a wave, like a wave. And then could you bring your hands together over your chest, palms together with the fingertips pointing up towards your chin? Namaste. And can you begin to very lightly bring the arms past the face and upwards? Upwards in this situation means the top of the head upwards, that direction. And then bring them back down. And you're just extending the arms as far as they go or as far as they don't go. It doesn't matter. But looking for a quality of evenness. And perhaps you could sort of experiment with how you employ your shoulder blades against the floor as you lengthen the arms and as you bring them back over the chest. Something that might remind you of what you were just doing, might even clarify it. You could even use your ankles, employ your ankles and your heels against the floor so that you grow taller, and then you come more into yourself somehow. You get longer, the spine gets longer. And then bring the arms down to rest and just consider for a moment your spine from your tail all the way through the sacrum, the big lumbar bones at the lower back, the thoracic where the ribs are all attached, and then the neck and up into the head. Up into the head. And how far up into the head do you sense or think or believe the top of your spine is, where it joins the skull? And if you find with your tongue the very highest part of your palate, that's about where behind that, as high up as your spine comes. So could you again begin to bring your hands into the prayer position and go upwards and downwards in the direction of the top of the head and back. And perhaps this time you could stand your feet just for some variation. Might make a difference in how your spine responds. But consider the very top of the spine, at the upper palate. And is there a moment when you go up where you feel the upper palate lifting? And maybe even the bones of the head opening. Roll to your side and come to sit. Roll to your side and come to sit. You can sit in any fashion that's comfortable for you. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit on a stool or a chair. You can sit on a cushion, meditation cushion if you have such a thing. And bring your arms into your prayer position. And lengthen upwards and lengthen downwards. Lengthen upwards and lengthen downwards in such a way that it's so light. It's so light that the pressure between the palms is minimal. The pressure between the palms is minimal. They're contacting, and you just go up and you come down. And you can follow this movement with your face and with your eyes. And you only go as far as is agreeable for your system. And again, can you listen for a place where your upper palate goes up as you lift yourself away from the floor? And you imagine the bones in your head also opening. And the breath is very even. And then just take one hand, and go up and down so that you feel absolutely no pressure from the other hand. You can rest the other hand on your lap or your knee so you feel that you're just contacting the air with your palm. Contacting the air with your palm. And then change hands. And go up and down and find your center line. Trace up your center line and down. And can you do this in a way that it's very, very even within you? Very, very even. All the bones and sinews and breath. And let's take a rest on the back. Let's take a rest on the back. And then with your right hand, can you make that prayer position, but just with the one hand? And find the place in you that's neither right nor left. And go along it with your hand, upwards and downwards, in line with the floor, as though you were on a pane of glass. As though you were on a pane of glass. And then replace that hand with the other hand in the place that's neither right nor left. And just stroke along that surface, that imaginary surface. And then with both hands, and then with both hands together, but so light, it's almost as though they acknowledge each other, they sense each other, but they're not pressing. And roll to your side and come to sit again. And bring your hands in front of your chest. And again, begin to move your hands and arms upwards and your face upwards. Very, very lightly. And you can sense your front and you can sense your back, and you can find perhaps a place inside of you that's very neutral. That's very neutral. And you lift the face upwards and you follow the arms, and then you can follow the arms downwards. And then could you begin to bring the upwards a little to the left? So you'll go upwards a little to the left, and then you'll come back to the middle. Just to the left. And each time you raise the arms, you turn a little more to the left. You turn just a little more to the left, and the face goes up and the face comes down. You come back to the center each time, but each time you go maybe a little few millimeters more to the left. And the next time your arms travel upwards, could you take your face downwards a bit? You're turning to the left. Your trunk is turning. Something happens in your pelvis. Something happens. There's asymmetry. There's asymmetrical prayer here. What happens with your pelvis? What happens with your chest? Can you take the struggle out? Can you take the athleticism out? As Feldenkrais said, it's the way we pray that answers our desires. Rest on your back. So how can you invoke the sense of gratitude in your own body, in your system? How can we find that within ourselves? Roll again and come to sit. If you were sitting cross-legged, you could experiment with the other leg in front, if you even know which one was in front before. And bring your hands to your center and begin to turn the other direction just a little bit at first. Your hands are in that place of going up and down in the place that's neither right nor left, but you are turning. You're turning to the right. You turn to the right as you go up, and you come back to the middle as you come down. And it's a smooth movement. You go up and you're turning, you're spiraling up, and then you spiral down. So there's an uplifting. There's an uplifting. Can you feel it in your palate, in your upper palate? And then could you continue that, but play with taking the head down as you turn and looking forward as you come back. So there's more a sense of going down and into yourself as you turn, as the arms go up, and then you emerge as you come back. You can try that to the other side as well, looking down, turning, looking up as you come forward. But searching for that sense of complete harmony everywhere. Everywhere in your system, there's harmony. Okay, lovely. Let's take a rest. If you find it hard to sit on the floor, I invite you to take a stool or a chair. And your pelvis and your spine might feel a bit freer. Stand up your left foot and bring your arms into your prayer position. And begin to lengthen your arms upwards and downwards. And play a little bit with pressing the floor with your foot as your arms travel upwards, so that you begin to roll a little bit to the right. The arms lengthen as you begin to roll a little bit to the right. And then you come back, and the arms come back to the center as you return to your back. And what are you going to do with your head, with your chin, with your ribs in the front, and your shoulders and your ribs in the back, so that you can effortlessly go to the right and just as effortlessly return to the floor. Well, the pelvis is turning and the ribs are turning and the chest is turning and the arms, they go as far as they go. And where do you place your head? Do you look up? Do you look down? Does it lift from the floor to stay in between the arms? And again, without looking for a place that I'm stretching, can you find a sense of complete neutrality, complete harmony? Liturgical movement. Okay, take a pause. Which is something I just learned they attempted to introduce into the Mennonite church. Liturgical movement, which consisted of you step forward with the right, you lunge to the left, and you raise one arm skyward. It didn't catch on. I think that was as close as they came to dancing. Stand your other leg and bring your arms into your prayer position and travel upwards and downwards in that place that's neither right nor left. And then, well, then there is a left, and you begin rolling towards it. But you're searching again for this neutrality, for this harmony. There's no debate going on in your system. There's no argument. It's a dialogue you're having with yourself, with your environment, with the god or the goddess. With the sunshine in the room. And next time you've returned to your back, take a rest on your back. And roll your head a bit. And do you feel your spine when you roll your head? Are you aware of your spine running through you as you roll your head? Roll to your side and come to sit in whatever fashion you choose, and bring your arms into your prayer position. And again, let's turn to the left, but as you bring the arms up, can you look in the direction of your right shoulder? So you turn to the left, but you're looking to the right, and then you come to the middle. Just that direction. We'll do the other side, but very gentle pressure. Hardly any pressure between the arms. And even though this is very asymmetrical and we're introducing more of a twist, can you find a way to spread it out so that no one place catches your attention? Can you unify your own field within yourself so that there's no separation with yourself? Take a rest down on your back. So, what is the feeling of devotion and how can we find it in ourselves? Roll to your side and come to sit. And search for devotion within yourself as you turn to the right and look over your left shoulder. Can you release judgment? Can you release pain? Can you release fear, insecurity, and just be present with yourself and attend to yourself in a devotional way? Really has nothing to do with movement, but it has everything to do with movement. It does and it doesn't. I don't know. This is lovely. I can feel it coming right through the screen. Something, there's a reverence in the room. Take a rest on your back. Roll to your side and come to kneeling on both knees. So you might want to take a pad or roll up your mat a little bit if you need a bit of a cushion. And stand on your hips, yeah, so you're not sitting on your heels. And bring your arms into your prayer position. And go upwards and come back. Go upwards and come back. And you can raise your eyes up and you can lower your eyes down. And you can notice, how do you bring the ground in and through you? Do you turn the knees into the floor a certain way as you go up or as you go down? Have the tops of the toes down with the nail side down rather than the toe pads. And now begin to play with turning your heels either inwards or outwards as you go upwards and downwards with your intention with your arms. Turn the heels towards each other, turn them away from each other. And Does this in any way help you get the feeling of drawing the ground into and through you? Does it give you a sense of, I don't know, more stability perhaps, more clarity? Take a rest on your backs. Play again with your shoulder blades as we did earlier, and see if you can sort of help drag your skeleton towards and away from your head with your shoulder blades. So you could, if you had to crawl somewhere and you only had your shoulder blades to employ, can you find that wave? Can you find that? Could it help? Yes, yes. There's a sense of connectedness through the front and the back, an evenness of employment in the frontal plane, in the back planes of yourself. Yes, that's very different. Some of you radically different. Good. Roll to your side and come to kneel on one knee, the knee of your choice, and the other foot will be standing. So we're introducing some instability here, more instability. Whenever we raise the center of gravity, we get more unstable. Now we're a little more unstable. And bring your hands in front of your chest. And in a devotional way, can you go upwards and downwards? And if you lose your balance, then your system knows what to do to recover it. And you can pay attention. You can pay attention. Is your knee well placed over the standing foot in such a way that you could draw the ground into you? You're drawing the ground into you through your ankle, into your knee, into your spine as you go up, as you go down. And then could you begin to turn your entire self away from the leg that's standing in front? Away from the leg. So the pelvis will turn, the chest will turn, the torso will turn, and play with the heel that's behind you. Would you take it to the inside or to the outside as you turn towards towards the leg of the knee that's standing on the floor? Would you take the heel to the outside or to the inside to help you have more stability as you go over there and as you come back? And then can you find that devotional quality inside of yourself? Very calm. Rest on your backs. Roll and come to your other knee. And as you set yourself up, do you attend to yourself and take care of yourself, or do you just sort of throw yourself about to get into the position? And then find a connection into the floor through yourself that's as though you're pulling the floor into you, and begin to pray up and pray down and lower and look up and look down, follow the hands. Feel as you lift the back and you lift the front and you lower the front and you lift the back, or whatever. Can you feel the harmony in the front and the back? So the most primitive movement that humans make at the beginning is flexion and extension, arching the spine and rounding the spine. So here we have the whole spine, arching a bit, rounding a bit. And then we go a little bit more complicated. Can you turn towards the knee that's standing on the floor? Turn towards the knee that's standing on the floor and then come back. And decide if you take your heel of the foot that's behind you to the inside or to the outside, which means we're rotating those tibulas and fibulas, but something that helps you grasp the floor somehow through your whole system. And then maybe the next couple of times, instead of looking upwards as you turn, could you look downwards as your arms travel upwards? And what happens in your chest there? What's required of your chest and your ribs? Can you make it smooth and even? When you lose your balance, do you stop breathing? Keep it soft, keep it responsive. Let's take a rest on the back. Coming into kneeling on the other knee. And see if there's a little bit more stability now. If you were to pray upwards and downwards and keep that sense of harmony in the front of you and the back of you, inside of you, and you draw the floor, the ground forces, the ground energies into you through your legs, your knees, your feet. And then begin to turn in the direction of the standing foot. This is very different then turning away from it. So a bit more unstable, because now we're starting to spiral the spine rather than the entire trunk turning. So the standing foot and leg create a bit of a constraint, but regardless of the constraint, can you keep the evenness? Can you find the harmony? Can you pull the ground into you? Can you keep your balance? And you can take the face up with the arms and down with the arms. You can take the face down as the arms go up and up as the arms go down. Or you could simply keep the face forward. There's another option. That's nice quality, nice quality. And then perhaps turn just once to the right and once to the left. The smooth evenness, devotion to attending to yourself. And of course, attending to yourself is stopping when you need to. So let's take a rest. Did you attend to yourself as you laid yourself out on the floor? Roll and come to stand on the other knee. You pull the floor into you so that you're very light yet stable. And bring your hands into the position and just play with turning towards the standing leg. Of course, they're both standing. The standing foot, the knee that's in front. It might not be very far. We're just searching for a quality. This is a lesson about quality, that you can find a quality within yourself, a unification of your intentions and your desires. Can you right now in this moment find one place in your body that you're grateful for? Or one thing about your body that you are grateful for? Something about, maybe it's the breath. Turn to the right, turn to the left. And you find gratitude. Huh. Lovely. Take a rest. Find another thing about your body that you're grateful for. Come again to sit in whatever fashion is comfortable. And bring your hands into your prayer position and begin to lengthen upwards and bring them down in front of you, and watch the hands with your face, with your eyes. But now can you do an odd thing? So your eyes are looking, they're watching, they're following your hands, and you're probably thinking of looking from the front, that the eyes are turning from the front. The fronts of the eyes go up and follow the hands. The fronts of the eyes go down. But now, can you think of turning your eyes from the back so that as you're looking up with the eyes, what's turning them is the back of the eye, and that's going down in opposition to the eye, the front of the eye going up, like a ball turning, although our eyes are shaped more like a plum. And then as you look downwards with the front of the eye, the back of the eye is going up. And can you think of turning the eyes from the back? Turn the eyes from the back. And does this change something about the quality with which you are moving? Can you come onto both knees and continue going up and down, but turning from the backs of the eyes? You could take the face down as the arms go up. The eyes go down and the backs of the eyes go up. And have your knees spread the distance of your hips. And now as you bring the arms down in front of you, can you fold a little bit more? Can you fold a little bit more at the hips so that you start to lower yourself towards the floor? You hinge backwards and you come a little more and a little more each time, reverently, until you might begin to touch the floor with your hands. Touch the floor with your hands. And they can excuse me, they can separate and place themselves lightly on the floor, like you're blessing the floor and lowering your forehead to the floor. You don't need to get there all at once, but gradually, you're lowering yourself in this very reverent way. And you can turn the heels outside. You can turn the heels inside. And you're placing your forehead on the floor and your hands on the floor, so to kiss the floor with your forehead. Do you turn your heels outwards or do you turn your heels inwards? And you can sit back, you can fold back. What's comfortable? But can you do it in a way that's reverent, that's respectful? I used to stop into a Buddhist church in Chinatown in San Francisco whenever I was in Chinatown. And they were often having a service where they were doing this hundreds of times. Mostly women that looked to be about 80. It was the Church of 1,000 Buddhas. Take a rest. Is there more a sense of cohesiveness within you? When you're ready, you can roll to your side and come up, or you can stay on the floor and take a nap. You can stand, you can feel how the ground comes into you. You don't have to stand if you're enjoying whatever you're enjoying. Can you bring the floor into you as you rest upon it? And I thank you. I salute you all. If you want to stay and gather, or if you want to go play golf, I wish you all a happy Easter.